everybody. This is Mike with On Point Preparedness. Many of you may recall a video I did back on October 1st of last year, the Mississippi River mysteriously dry. Could that be a precursor for a New Madrid earthquake? Now, this video was based off of some other YouTubers that at least had lots of anecdotal evidence submitted by a whole ton of subscribers showing that the Mississippi River was indeed dry, and I put forth some evidence in that video on why, again, it may be a precursor for a major earthquake. But it's not just the Mississippi River that we're seeing this drying phenomenon. We're actually seeing lots of different bodies of water exhibit strange characteristics. We've seen lots of lakes literally disappear overnight. If you recall Hurricane Irma, they said that it was so powerful that it literally sucked the ocean towards it, and you had some beaches along the East Coast in Florida which were literally dried up for, I don't know, maybe the duration of a day or so. But that wasn't it. After the hurricanes ceased to be, we started seeing oceans literally receding like you would see in a tsunami event. You saw them receding in Uruguay, Brazil, Ecuador, parts of India, and while some quote-unquote scientists and experts are saying it's this or that, truth be told, they're all having a little bit of a varied opinion, so I don't think anyone truly knows. A lot of them say, oh, this is just a historical fact that happens every 10 or 20 years, but when you look at the comments of these articles, there's people, elders that are 70 years old, 65 years old, saying, in all my life, I've never seen this since I've lived here. And when you try to do Google searches or any other type of DuckDuckGo search, you cannot find these phenomenons, in decades past. So what are they really telling us? Well, I saw this really interesting little tidbit, this snippet from the Weather Channel. I want you to go ahead and take a listen to this because they more or less confirm what's actually going on in the earth right now.
So one of the things that we learned after Tuesday's 7.9 magnitude earthquake in Alaska was that the vibrations caused water to rise and fall in wells in Florida, and that is thousands of miles away. So guys, this wasn't a theory. This was a real deal observation that was picked up on sensors near Fort Lauderdale and Madison, which is near the Georgia border. So the change here was minor, but to even see a change 3,800 miles away is definitely worth noting. Also, it's not uncommon to see changes in groundwater levels hundreds or even thousands of miles away from an earthquake center. Sometimes the changes can be extreme, and in the past, we've even seen wells gone dry for months at a time.
So there you have it. You have the Weather Channel literally saying that this is not theory. This is documented evidence that earthquakes thousands of miles away can actually impact our water systems, whether it be wells or lakes, and I'm wondering if it also is affecting oceans. I presented this article to you in my prior video on October 1st, an old article from 1993, the USGS, again confirming, just like the Weather Channel, that these geologic events do impact our water systems. But what's really telling is about the Chilean lake disappearing. It disappeared in one day, and when the Chilean forest officials arrived at the lake, they found no water, and interestingly enough, there was a fissure in the lake. So this crack in the earth literally drained the water into the earth. And this part here says one theory scientists considers an earthquake in the area opened up that fissure and sucked down the lake. And so here's my hypothesis about everything. Again, this is just an educated guess, just like all these other scientists that are trying to make educated guesses on exactly what's going on with these oceans receding, lakes disappearing, wells disappearing. What I do know is that John Casey's research that I presented to you before about the sun cycle, 206-year sun cycle going into a hibernation phase, that has been confirmed. I know that Casey said that as a result of the sun going into this dormancy phase, we would have increased earthquakes and volcanic activity. If you're keen on the headlines today, you'll know that there have been a multitude of major earthquakes and volcanoes going off all around the world. And so I know those things to be true. I also know from the USGS and the Weather Channel and everything that I presented to you thus far, changes in our Earth's crust can actually change water patterns. It can actually suck water down. It can raise water up via a tsunami. In the New Madrid event back in the 1800s, the Mississippi River literally flowed backwards because of an earthquake. And so there's a direct relationship there. And so what I'm wondering is, with all these events happening, the sun, the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the sonic booms, where I did a prior video for you all showing that there may be a connection between the sonic booms and the earthquakes. I'm really wondering, as it relates to these receding oceans, is if there is an opposite effect. In some cases, when you have a tsunami, you have two of these tectonic plates crashing together and it's lifting the ocean upwards and then causing that massive wave to come. Could we not theorize that some earthquakes that do not produce a tsunami are actually producing cracks in the ocean floor? And it's actually draining water from the ocean for a period of time, which is causing this ocean recession, again, in Uruguay, Brazil, Ecuador, India. I think it's a pretty probable explanation, really, especially when a lot of these events didn't have an accompanying hurricane like Irma. I mean, possibly Irma was the reason for the recession of the oceans from the East Coast in Florida. But for all these other places, there was either no hurricane whatsoever, or a hurricane had already passed and it had been some time. So let me know what you think about this. Again, I've seen so many different theories, right? Some people are saying, oh, this is Planet X coming. I've seen that this is the magnetic poles shifting and the Earth's axis tilting. I've just seen everything from A to Z. But as I look at the whole variety of evidence that I'm seeing from an earthquake and volcanic activity perspective, it's just like I've said before, guys. The Bible does talk about earthquakes in diverse places. I think we're in for some more major ones similar to Fukushima. And you just have to be prepared, especially if you live on one of these fault lines. If you're on the San Andreas, or you're out in California, or you're on the New Madrid, or perhaps you're not in the U.S. But again, key thing here is if you're on a fault line, you really need to think about what would I do if this really happened. So appreciate your thoughts in the comments box. Let me know what you think. This is Mike with On Point Preparedness. See ya.